The next thing I want to react to is this card by Leonhart, who's a huge YouTuber for other stuff. You see 2 million subs, way bigger than we got with Sam. Grim Reality owning a card store. So I imagine this is not going to be just pertaining to Yu-Gi-Oh! But for me, if you don't know, you can see behind me, I don't run a card store in the sense of where you can come in and buy cards. I run an online card store, which I've scaled down a lot as I want to transition more to content creation. But especially during COVID, I was doing a lot of this. As well as I've worked closely with card stores and I've worked at card stores for many years in my life. It is something where I consider myself pretty much an expert in, because I've seen the back end, I've seen the front end. I've dealt with a lot of this. So I feel like I can give good insight, and I feel like it can be a cool discussion. And I think a lot of people have very poor perceptions or conceptions of what it's like owning a card store. I don't think it needs to be, I think this is phrased negatively and like this as a clickbait. But if you expect a card store to be just playing games all day, obviously that is ridiculous. In most cases, it is very methodical and treating it like any other inventory-based business, merchandise-based business, because that's what it is. Can you ever see yourself opening a card store like a local store? No. And I'm sure many of those reasons will be said here. Like, I'm sure it'll talk about theft, which is a reason why I do not want to store. He'll talk about rent, which is a reason I don't want to store. This is much easier for storage and stuff without having having a storefront. You have benefits in foot traffic and trade-ins more, but you also have to deal with less storage space, or having to pay for more storage space now, and then thefts, and then the overhead costs, and then all the extra utilities you're paying for customers to deal with. And then obviously you have to deal with the customer service aspect, which even as someone who just deals with TCG Player a lot is very fucking frustrating. You mean it's not like TCG Card Stop Simulator? No. All right, so I want to give this a quick look. I'm going to post the video in the description here as well, guys. The stinky players. My sense of smell is really bad. So not going to lie, it's rarely a problem for me. And maybe if I had a good sense of smell, I wouldn't be playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Or maybe I can't smell because I play Yu-Gi-Oh! Okay, I'm curious to see what they have to say here. Is theft an issue in card stores? Yep, very much so. Employee theft as well, right? Oh, so the other issue I'm looking into here is other forms of shrinkage. So like an accounting shrinkage would be like the theft going missing, stuff getting damaged. But because you have so much money in actual inventory because the cards are so expensive, you now run a risk from fires, from floods, from the shelving breaking and your card getting crushed. And obviously you want to alleviate as much risk as possible.
Would you recommend running a card store? It was an uphill battle. You're going to be struggling and hard. It is one of the prime targets for robbery. They were grabbing cases of stuff.
Oh my gosh.
I might make this sound grim, but you have to be prepared for a storm.
As a part of my business plan, you factor in a certain percentage of your sales to be lost to theft, scams, or getting destroyed. That is the grim reality of running a business. Not just a card store, but planning in contingencies and expecting things to go wrong is part of owning any business. I account for at least 5% of all of my revenue I expect to go missing. And this is without theft through here, but scams happen a lot online. And the reality is there's nothing you do about it. For example, TCG Player is pretty good. TCG Player, unlike eBay, will protect the buyer or seller for the most part. If a buyer says it didn't arrive, but the tracking says it's delivered, TCG Player will cover me. However, if a buyer says the package was empty, I lose everything. And I've had that happen for several orders, some up to over 1,000. I've had a $1,700 order. Guy said package was empty, and I'm like, well, rip, you just lose the money. And LA car stores burned down in big fires. Insurance doesn't cover that? Nope. So the problem with insurance, can't appeal? No, because how do you prove anything? The problem with insurance is most insurance wants invoices for appraisals, and you can insure probably sealed products, but insuring singles without a invoice to back up their value, and this is not even just fire insurance in LA, this is insurance in general with cards, because you can't really back up the value with an invoice of your cards, insurance doesn't actually do anything for most TCG. Add an air tag on big orders. How does that help? If they said that a package came with just an air tag, they still win. That doesn't guarantee the card is in there. It's like no one takes responsibility for the missing content. They make you take responsibility. They also could just be lying. They could just say the thing is empty and then get a free product. They have to get it refunded. The onus is on the seller. And if they can't, so like with tracking, they could blame USPS and TCG Player would cover it. But if it's empty, then the onus would be on, and it was legitimately empty. The onus would be on the seller. Therefore, TCG has no coverage. You have to record the entire process, packing and shipping the product to prove it. Exactly. It has to be airtight, because if you leave a 5-second break where the package is no longer on screen because you stopped recording or needed to put your shit in the car, they could say the package was tampered with in between that amount of time. Who's to say you didn't scan it in to USPS? They take it behind the counter and they say, hold on, I forgot something. And maybe they give it back to you for a second and you tamper with it real quick. You can always justify bullshit. Time to personally fly to sellers and deliver yourself. When I do really big sales, like if you guys remember, I sold the first place world's prize card from 2020, the Blue Eyes one. That was sold in person. There was no fucking chance I was blindly shipping and trusting a $100,000 card like that. That's what you have to do for sales like that. The unfortunate reality is, like cheating in Yu-Gi-Oh, if people want to scam, they can find a way to do it. And you have to just trust that people aren't assholes. And trust in the morality and ethical nature of people. When I had somebody working for me, I have cameras up. If someone packs an order for me, my employee packs the order, they don't have to pocket it. What they can do instead is they put the tracking label. Instead of putting in the buyer's address, they put their address in. And when I'm shipping my box out to USPS, and I have 100 or so orders, hundreds of orders, I'm not going to check every fucking label to see what the names are. As well, if they put a fake name instead of their actual name, and I don't know my employee's address, or they put their friend's address, they could ship the product themselves, and I would have zero idea, but they'd be stealing from me. And I'd have never known. And I'm sure I'm giving people the very bad way of doing it. You can figure that out with tracking. Technically, you'd catch them, but you'd find out too late. Catching them would be hard. So if they put the tracking into the system on USPS, on TCG Player, then they're an idiot, because I can trace back to where that went. But if they fucked up and forgot to put tracking in, or put the order before's tracking in, they can layer it in a way that it's hard to find out. Or they do it on an order that wouldn't be tracked, like a $20 order. $20 order is still a bit of money, but it's not tracked. If they steal 5 $20 orders a day, that adds up very, very fast. And to be automated so the employee doesn't have interference, that means more work for me. But yes, you need to be able to trust employees. You need to be able to delegate employees. Otherwise, you get into the whole problem of running a business. But this is the nature of running a business.
More than ever, people are wanting to start their own card stores, but running
this fucking game, yeah. We haven't even got into the video yet, but I guess we're learning a lot. I'm gonna have to rehash some of these arguments, I guess.
one presents a few more challenges than expected. Meet Nathan, the owner of Cloud Collectibles in Dallas, Texas. I decided to stop by his store to see what running a card store is really like.
Hey.
Hey, what's up?
How's it going?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for letting me come here today to check out the store. You've recently expanded, right?
Yes, within the past 6 months we've expanded.
I'd love to kind of just get a tour of your store and then kind of get into things, and maybe even if you let us open up a little something. What do we got? What do we got? Oh my gosh, that's the full art. What do you got with this massive display right here?
This wall is our sealed products. We try to give a good variety of different games for people.
So you don't have just Pokemon, you have Dragon Ball, Star Wars, even a little sports as well.
Yep, Weiss is another big one that we do here. We have Magic, Final Fantasy. I mean, we try to keep a good variety here.
Do you see a lot of people coming in for that different variety, or do you, as a store, mainly try to focus on TCG like Pokemon or Lorcana?
You know, we try to give every game a fair chance, but Pokemon does outpace almost every other game.
Pokemon is also going through a big boost right now. And this happens sort of like cyclically, where games have bigger pushes or bumps in the media and they become popular. Pokemon is the big dog, though, for sure.
It's actually doing very well, too, right now.
Oh, that's incredible. And you have different types of tournaments over there in the tournament area?
Yes.
Like pre-releases and stuff?
Yes, we do a lot of pre-releases. We host, I think, currently 5-6 different games. Pokemon is actually one of our smallest tournaments, so which is weird.
So for actually playing...
It's not, because a lot of the market is collectibles, right? Which you have to factor in why Yu-Gi-Oh can't just copy Pokemon.
Wise, Pokemon is your smallest.
Yes.
But for coming in and buying an Evolving Skies pack, that's like your biggest crowd?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so Pokemon's your first biggest game. What's your second biggest game?
One Piece.
Is One Piece?
Yep.
Okay, very nice.
The third would be Lorcana. I think the fourth would be Weiss.
All right, what do you got going on in these glass
Damn, no
cases over
Yu-Gi-Oh out there.
In the front here, we keep all of our slabs, the big variety.
Behind Weiss is sad. Is this a good looking card store? Is this average or high end? It's hard from perspective shots, because obviously they control what we see. It looks pretty like a bit above average. Average obviously depends on what you've been to and where you've been. I've been to a lot of different card stores and had very different experiences, but I don't judge too much on like design and stuff because that's not really too important. Like how they price things, how much they stock things, and the open space is more important.
Classic Japanese.
Isn't it possible they just don't carry Yu-Gi-Oh? Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. I'm just making the jab as a Yu-Gi-Oh player. Obviously, like it can be very reasonable they just don't stock Yu-Gi-Oh, which should be a bit sad because I'm here as a Yu-Gi-Oh player trying to react to this. But obviously, my insights would still stand as the markets would be very similar still.
We mainly try to keep the three big, graders: CGC, PSA, Beckett. The biggest reason why we opened Cloud Collectibles, I think some of the stores got too comfortable, so they were just overcharging the community. So for example, there's boxes that you could buy for like $200-300. They'll charge $800-900. When I was returning to collect Pokemon, I actually went to one of those stores, and I didn't know anything at the time. And then after some time and research after I bought it, I realized I was down, and I was like, that's not cool. Let's create a place where people feel safe when you're new.
That's great.
There's a lot of stuff.
Obviously respect that, but then you become just like a savior for the community, which is honorable, but you also have to look out for your own self-interests, right? I'm a believer in looking out for your own self-interests while being morally responsible. They gave Yu-Gi-Oh a chance and it failed. Yu-Gi-Oh can be a hard market to break into, right? Do you know about the Pokemon TCG reselling drama? Is it just scalping bad? Because that's the same shit from COVID. It's rehashed again. It's just not new. Yeah, so Pokemon runs an allocation. I cannot order Pokemon because my distro just never has any for me. Or if they want to give me, I get like 2 boxes. I don't get real inventory in Pokemon. Yu-Gi-Oh is prints to order. So if I order 200 cases of a set, I'll get 200 cases of a set. For example, for Supreme Darkness, I have 154 cases coming in. And that's exactly what I ordered. And that can make card prices more, but it's because of supply restrictions, right? Yu-Gi-Oh's print to order? Yep, Yu-Gi-Oh's print to order. I have to order my sets like 4 months in advance. My Alliance Insight orders are due in less than a week. Pseudo was bad. I pre-sold a lot. I did not have faith in the set, but a lot of it pre-sold, so I ordered. This is not a crazy high order for me, though. Most of it's pre-sold, though, and Yu-Gi-Oh's margins are shit. I don't make that much money off that. Alien sounds like money. Because of the conversion rates, it's kind of not great for me right now, but it's an entirely different argument. Whereas a Canadian, I face extra risk because of the border, where I have to deal with customs, I have to deal with tariffs, fucking Trump, and I have to deal with conversion risk. Your local card store said they literally couldn't even order any more Rhoda because it's sold out at distributors. Your card store's lying. What actually happened, they did not place their order in time. And what some stores do, and okay, for what it's worth, I don't know where you live. I cannot speak if it's the same outside of North America. I can only speak for North America. I want to preface with that. I know some stuff about the foreign printing, the rules, but it's not the same. Live in London. So, okay, what happens with stores sometimes is they'll only order product after it's been announced and they get upcharged, but they know exactly what's in it and they know what the market is like. They don't have to pre-order. That is different. And yes, that is limited stock because they're not print to made immediately. Obviously, it takes time to print stuff. In the UK, though, I know that the pre-order window is way shorter. So, like, it's not as long before. I have to pre-order shit way more in advance than UK, and stuff does run out. I think the system does run differently, but the person who I've talked to about it is someone who isn't a big vendor, so I don't know how true that is. I know that other vendors like Tier Zero have a shit ton of product, so I have to imagine if you order early enough, you'd still not have that problem in the UK. I don't really understand, but yeah. Tariffs from what? From Japan? From the States. The cards are printed in America. I'm Canadian. You read a guy complain about 40 out of 140 packet of TCG player and he got blocked and banned. Good. Because it's frustrating as fuck as sellers. But people are too nitpicky. I've dealt with a lot of those as well.
Even in my store, that might be a little bit overpriced, but it's more because there's a lot of Pokemon products you can't buy from distribution anymore. So we have to actually buy that from other customers and other people at a certain price. So we have to mark it up just to keep the doors open a little bit. Yeah, and we try to make it as family fun as possible here. So the people who come here, they become our friends. So most of our employees actually were originally customers. I came here as a business partner with Bill, but now we have like 20-30 friends that come here and just hang out with us on a daily. They don't buy anything, they just come and hang out like from morning to night.
And that's kind of like what you want to see with your local card stores. You want that casual, fun feeling to come anytime during the day to hang out with your friends.
Yeah, and then you want to stock your fridge with like some snacks, chips, and then some drinks. And that would be an advantage. You make a bit of money on like that stuff. And then those people would trade in stuff. They'd buy some bulk bullshit commons or supers and whatever. They'd trade in, open some packs when they're bored. That's a good part about having a local storefront that I wouldn't have access to. But obviously, it's small in the grand scheme of things and wanting to scale up your business because that's not scalable.
Open up some cards. I would be personally tempted myself if I was just sitting there to walk over and be like, yeah, I want a 151 pack right now to open. But I like that vibe because I think that really is what the communities want and need, is a safe, fun place to come and buy cards and hang with other passionate people. Let's take just a closer look at some of these. Like, look at that Lily down right over here. That's a PSA 10 Lily Full Art Trainer.
To be honest, this is one of the first cards that I bought. It's actually one of my personal cards that I left out here.
That's incredible. What are some of your other favorite cards that you have displayed?
The first one would be probably this gold 10 Charizard. Most people don't know that, during the celebrations print, this was very hard to grade. It was very hard to even to get a 10 out of it. So the difference between a raw and a 10 is like $1,000.
Really? That's a CGC Gemmin 10. Yeah, those metal cards always would flake in the grading process, so that's a very, very special card to get in such a score.
And Beckett refuses to grade.
That card is kind of sus, not gonna lie. I don't know enough about the Pokemon high end. I know a little bit about it. I sold what I did have. I had like the Mario and Luigi Pikachus, which were cool, but as for like the high end nitty gritty, Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm knowledgeable as shit about because I was very involved in it. Pokemon, I have a little bit of knowledge, but it's not that much. So like obviously in that regards, like I know graded cards are worth money and I deal with graded cards sometimes, but I can't speak too much on what those cards are. Those are worth a bit now. I mean, Charizard is the general kind of bar for being good. Pokemon quality is much higher than Yu-Gi-Oh! Yeah, Pokemon. Actually, I don't know about how good Pokemon's quality is, but TCG's print quality has not been great lately.
This was a big one right here.
Is that a Gold Star Umbreon?
Yes, it is. At a BGS 9.
Wow, so there we go, folks. That's like one of the original Umbreons that you want to go after, but that thing's only in those Pop Series 5 packs.
In English, they never had a holo version. In the Japanese, they had a holo version of that.
Of the Umbreon card?
Yes.
Wow, I didn't really know that. Pretty cool. Taking a look at some of these
The more
items
you know.
right here. You got some
That's a lot of this card stuff. There's so many small random facts throughout all of the card worlds that like there's an endless amount of fun facts and more you know type stuff. And I can go on forever about some of it. Like if I show this on screen here are just two cards I have next to me. How many of you know about this? Can it focus? Please? Oh my god. That still doesn't look great. There you go. Look at that name. Sarcophago d'Oro. This is a prize card. Most prize cards only printed in English. This is one of the Pharaoh Tour prize cards. So instead of they're shown in Jump Championship at the time, this is Pharaoh's Tour. But back then, they occasionally made some of the Pharaoh's Tour cards in the foreign rarity or the foreign language for where they were won. So this is an Italian prize card. Not many Italian prize cards exist. How many of you have seen this? The Seal of Orichalcos. Not technically a real card, but made by Upper Deck employees for a Duel the Master Con. Collecting is cool. Definitely get why people love it so much. Where are the misprints at? I don't know if I have any misprints next to me. I've sold a lot of my collection off because I just had way too much. Who can see what it says there as the type? Issue is the lighting is not good. Where's my phone? Can you guys see what type that says? Dragon. Yep, it's French and it says dragon. So this is a Gearfried, the swordsman. It is not supposed to be a dragon, but it says dragon. I'm not sure if they're all like that in French, but yeah, there's a cool misprint. It is supposed to be a warrior, obviously.
When you started creating it?
Yeah, we tried to go for, we wanted to be wide open. We wanted to try to keep it as clean as possible.
What is this whole area right here with the glass display cases?
This is all of our raw singles. We got Yu-Gi-Oh right here, One Piece.
Oh, they have Yu-Gi-Oh, okay.
This is our vintage Pokemon case. We have 2 cases full of it. And then over here we keep our modern, 3 cases of modern, and then we got 1 case of Japanese.
Yeah, this is a dream.
Remember a time where a friend scammed for a misprint Mewtwo? Used your love of Greninja against you? Okay. I don't know if he's your friend if he scammed you.
Come true for myself just learning to play the game and stuff, to instantly be greeted by all of the singles of cards here, especially right over here. I'm eyeing this specific nest ball card over here.
Showcases are so pretty, but they take up so much space, which is a lot of, it costs money, right? Because it's your space is your money as you're renting, which is sad. As well as they take work to maintain because you have to dust them and clean them pretty frequently. And then if you want to make them look nice, you need to light them, which is more money.
We'll have to see if we can come up with a good deal a bit later on for that, because I'll put that in my deck that I play with. But very cool area. I love the aesthetic, just bright, open concept of what you were saying when you started the store.
All of these like shelves, we actually designed it ourselves in-house. We try to match it to our aesthetic here.
And I think that's just what makes a bit more personality when it comes to the store. These are your full art trainers.
Yes.
Oh, so this is probably one of your more popular ones right now. I can see it.
Yes.
It's already been kind of rated by some people. And then yeah, down here as well. Looks like you got a Charizard right here. It's just always beautiful. There you got some Pidgeots down there. I always just love checking
the
out the
Pokemon
singles,
appreciation
especially
video.
the secret rares. Look at all these rare candies over here.
You assume a big problem with card stores having space for play and card showcases. Yeah, it takes up space, right? It's all things you have to factor into your business plan in terms of the money you're spending, because that factors into increasing rent prices. Is X thing worth its space that it then costs you for rent? And obviously this could be a bit simplistic or like a little bit of simplification, because you can't always control exactly how much space you have. It does depend on location and what's available, but to some degree you can.
If you look at the prices, they're all 10 and above. But we actually have binders that is for much lower and like cheaper cards, from $1 all the way up to $10. So we don't keep that in a case. So we always have binders. Customers can always come.
So one thing that I'm surprised never really caught in the Western world that they do a lot in Japan, at least in a lot of the stores in Akihabara, is they do vertical showcases. And it's in theory just more space efficient, unless you display more to keep up the displays, that aesthetic. Obviously, though, it's not behind the counter is the problem. So you need to get locked cabinets, and then employees have to go, like, you put them in the general area.
Open, go through.
So like this says Pokemon Vintage right here, or Pokemon EX GX. Can I take it out?
Yeah, definitely. So here's a trainer gallery, and there's a playable.
Oh yeah?
Yep.
Let's check out. Oh, this is great. This is so just convenient. So if you're wanting to play, man.
Think of all the time that takes to stock those binders, to continue organizing them, to restock them, to inventory them. If you're selling online, do you list them online or have separate inventories for real life and online, right? Like those are all things to keep in mind, right? And your time matters because, for one, you may not be the one doing it. It might be an employee, and that time does directly correlate to money spent. Like a wall display. Yeah, they do vertical displays. If you watch Japan vlogs, from my channel even, you'll see. It's all just an ad right now. It is mostly just an ad. That's why I'm trying to interject with some opinions of my own. But even though this has really just been me talking and this is as a background noise, I feel like I've still talked about quite a bit of like knowledge. But do card stores profit from holding a tournament because the space has to cover its rent value? Some card stores don't profit. In fact, when I worked with card stores, we would try to have tournaments that didn't profit from their tournaments. It depends on how you run your business, how competitive your area is. For areas where there's not many different tournaments, when I say competitive, I don't mean player base. I mean how many stores there are. How competitive are the stores with each other for trying to take each other's player bases away. When there's a lot of competition, if your tournaments are worse, you will get mostly less players, right? So if you want better turnouts, you do better prizing, better bang for your buck. That's one of the ways to get more players. And the reason why you'd run a tournament and not earn a profit on the tournament is to get players in the store to buy your cards because they need them for the deck, and to trade in their cards, or to, when they get bored, buy shit, like buy packs to crack. And the other one is to bring attention to your store so people come back to them and they know you exist in the future if they like your vibe. Many times you run a tournament not for profit, but yes, you can. When there's areas with not much competition and stores have monopoly on the player base, they can just run a tournament for a profit, because at the end of the day, why not make more money if they don't have a reason not to? Not like they have any backlash.
This is very convenient. I love that this is like that. Full art trainer binder.
And we're always filling this up every single day.
Oh yeah, like there's that Briar.
If you fill that up every day, that is more time spent. Just, yeah.
Card, which I just added to my deck. What do you got in this case?
You know, upcoming games, Soul Masters. I want to help them grow. We put toys in here.
I like these. It looks like 3D printed figures of the muscle Pokemon in there. And then this looks like some more Ys. Got a whole section of Lorcana. You have a fairly good fan base? So.
Yeah, actually our Lorcana tournament base is actually pretty big. We can pull anywhere between 30 to 70 people sometimes.
Really?
So, yeah.
How many people do you think you can fit in here?
Here specifically is around 70 people. And then if we need more space, we go next door and ask them if we can use their tables too. And they're really good people too, yeah. They're a boba
That's
shop,
crazy.
actually.
It looks like you got sleeves and accessories on this side between Dragon Shield, Graded Guard, one-piece sleeves.
These are some Japanese imported sleeves. We have play mats of all different sorts.
I like that. I need to get that for like Halloween.
Deck boxes, carry cases, and we have a lot of bulk too for people who, you know, like to finish master sets, we let them use our display cases and consign.
Is this also kind of consignments as well with these cards?
We have extra space, and you know, if someone wants to consign something, we'll make it.
Yeah, so I mean, I've done consignment as well, even just I'll sell stuff for people. But obviously you charge a cut typically because they're using your stuff. You're also assuming risk, or you have to tell them if there's theft, you take the risk, which can be a bit unsettling.
That's really nice of y'all to do that. Well, I see you got an empty space right there. Maybe I can...
It's so nice of you to do that. It's business driven. He doesn't get nothing for it. It also makes the store look nicer because he has more high rarity in stock cards.
I put like a special Leonhart card there or something like that, and a little display sign that says Leonhart card, and somebody can come and buy it. I'm just joking, but
Your fans would probably love that, actually.
yeah, maybe. That got me thinking. I was kind of seeing what looks like your logo in this room.
Yes.
What do you got going on in this secret room over here?
So we recently just added a streaming room,
Oh, nice.
making videos.
Wow, look at that. You got some binders over here. You got the all-important bathroom, which is very nice.
You know, we try to keep the store as clean as possible. I mean,
Yep.
we spend a lot of time cleaning. I feel
Oh, that's
more of a
another
janitor
thing
than a-
with having a store. You have to clean a fucking bathroom of every day with Yu-Gi-Oh players and Pokemon players and whatnot. Have fun with that.
But I mean, it's fun. I mean,
That's great with the amount of people. I mean, no offense, but stores are notorious for it can get
but,
pretty...
I love cleaning though, so it's not a bad thing. We actually do a lot of charities here.
Do you like cleaning up piss and shit? Following it up with "I like cleaning" is insane. Even if you like cleaning, no one likes cleaning the bathroom, right? Right? Especially not a public bathroom. He didn't say that. That's what it sounds like.
We take a lot of these bulk cards that we have too much of. We give it to the hospitals. We give it to schools. We create decks for people.
Pokemon is great for that. So I do a lot of business with one of my local card stores, and I'm very close friends with the owner as well. And oftentimes he gets free promotional products in. And my mom is a SLP, speech language pathologist for special needs kids in our area. So he'll give me a lot of the promotional Pokemon stuff for free, which I'll give to my mom to then give to her kids as either like rewards for doing tasks or to give to the schools just so classes have their thing. So I know one time we got like 100 different Christmas cards, Pokemon themed Christmas cards that she gave to like classes at her schools. Pokemon is great for that though.
We don't put our name on anything. We just send it off to them.
Oh, that's really nice. That's really kind of y'all to do that.
I also sat down with Nathan to ask about the reality of being a card store owner.
What are some common misconceptions when it comes to running a card store? There's a game called TCG Simulator right now, which is very popular. I'm gonna guess it's not as easy as running a store like that online, right?
No, it's not as easy. Spend most of your time sitting here pricing cards. We price out all the cards once, and then we're at mercy to the market. You could come here and see a card that I priced for 25 bucks. Well, in a week from now or a month from now, that card could have dropped down to...
I mean, prices change every day.
Yes.
So you're saying that you would have to basically come out here. It's not like an online store where you just can update it just like that. You have to get out here and manually do it for the hundreds of cards.
Okay, well, that makes very little difference. But the point is, yes, when you have a lot of inventory, manual updating prices can be hard. And ideally, something you can do with like an online store is have very little variety. Like what I'm transitioning to is I'm not opening as much product anymore. I don't have much variety in my singles. And if you check my online store, which is Pro Potato and TCG, I don't have that many products listed. But like a lot of the products is all the same stuff. It's all just Rarity Collection, Infinite Forbidden, Rage of the Abyss. It's a limited product line because then being able to alter my prices is easier and faster. But when I had thousands and thousands of listed items, that's very time consuming and it's not feasible to do it. And that means a lot of times you have dead products where other people are just out competing you in prices. You lose money because your stuff is listed too low.
Cards that you have out there.
Yep, like I said, we only we price out stuff once. And then when people come, we kind of hope that they go to the rare candy.
You got blacklisted from your locals because of buying gold strikes cheap because of the owner and they didn't know it shot up that morning. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't blacklist you for that, but obviously, like that's one of the problems with the market, right?
Yeah, and you could get the most current pricing, and we price match it all. We just don't have the manpower to go through hundreds of that. We literally go through hundreds.
And then you have to put up this ugly sign that says we'll match price. But yeah, I mean that's what you'd have to do. Well, the alternative is you just don't price things. You put things up without a price unless they're like the rare collectibles where you can be a bit more discretionary with pricing. And you just say, well, price match, TCG player lowest verified. You have a sign. You have them several different spots. And then, yeah, you just wouldn't price a lot of the lower end cards or the meta cards, whatever.
Hundreds of thousands of cards in a month.
Have you ever had a moment while running this shop that you thought, oh my gosh, I don't know if we're gonna make it.
Yes, it was consistent through the first year and couple months. My business partner and I, we were just dumping our personal money into it. We actually did not take any profits from this store till this Christmas. We realized that all the money needs to go back to catching up and feeding the card stores.
What's been the most unexpected thing?
I have other businesses. When you buy products, let's say I sell 3 Dr. Peppers. I'll go out and buy 4 Dr. Peppers and bring it back to the store. Here at this retail store, you sell that 3 Dr. Pepper and you can't buy anymore. It's done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was the most unexpected. So to keep products in the store.
Yeah. You have to order enough at the start, and you have to predict and gauge ahead of time how good something's gonna do in a market. And obviously it's hard enough to do that with just Yu-Gi-Oh, let alone to do that with several different card games. And that means you start averaging out your order numbers and you start ordering lower to leave yourself not available to risk. But you also lose the ability to capitalize and maximize on your profits.
For customers to come even to buy, that's also, that was the most unexpected, where you're always struggling to look for more products. Like, we got to find something for our customers. We don't want to look like we're going out of business here, guys.
Question, would you recommend running a card store?
The card store was much different than what I thought it was going to be.
How so?
So when you first have a bunch of cards, you're like, oh, I'm going to run a card store. And I have $50,000 in my pocket or $100,000 in my pocket. I'm going to go rent a space and I'm going to go sell Pokemon cards. That's a great idea until you realize that once you sell out of your original cards, there's no other ways to get it back except.
This is the problem with people running TCG player stores as well. You need to have a constant inflow of products, right? You need a sustainable business map plan. And this is why it's important when you're doing any business to really flesh out your strategy. You need to make sure you have a constant flow of cards. And that's why I order so much products, right? This is partially to have the flow of cards constantly. I need to make sure I'm making money on that. Yeah, not that I do that as much anymore. I don't crack product like that anymore. I used to during COVID.
There's no other ways to get it back except pretty much buying it again at market price or higher, as Pokemon always goes up. And the thought of having $100,000 in your pocket for inventory, now you've got yourself in a rent, you got yourself in electricity, you got yourself in.
You carry a big financial risk, yeah. And a lot of it's in inventory, which again, you have risk of theft, risk of fire, risk of flood.
Much more than you're actually thinking.
And security as well, too.
Yep. You're gonna put a lot more money than you think, and if you want to be successful, you want 10 to 20 times more money than what I just did for you to compete and do well. So for people who are trying to open up,
I would not say 50,000 is enough. 50,000 might be enough to get started on an online store, and I'd almost recommend an online store first to get in the method of the basics of it, and then branch out into a physical store. A physical store, you need to put more effort into so much more. Right, and the appearance of the inventory. If I run out of Infinite Forbidden, fantastic. I'm done. No one cares if I don't have it. If the store runs out of Infinite Forbidden, then, like a real store, then the shelves look empty. It looks like the local players are not stocked on the hottest items, and that's rough.
a card store, I do suggest starting with the online. Once you do very well with online, then think about getting into
nice.
the store.
He's saying the same
do not
thing.
start that process with getting a store. I did that
You also scale up your capital, which you need to do.
mistakenly, and it set me back a while to catch up.
Really?
Yeah, it was a struggle. It was an uphill battle, you know what I mean?
What's been like the biggest struggle for you as a card store?
Biggest struggle for me is scaling is our biggest problem. To get to a certain number where you could hold on to enough cases for 3 months, it might be like 50 to 100 cases. And if you're a brand new shop, you're starting with 2 cases and you're supposed to have that 2 case last you 3 months till the next drop, you're gonna be struggling and hard.
How does allocations exactly work for local card stores?
When you're a new store, the maximum they'll give you is 1 or 2 cases. After that, the next set, they'll give you 3 or 4 cases. Or the next set after that,
It's different for every card game. It's also different on the distributors.
they'll give you 4 or 5. But if it's a good set, everyone is cut back down to 4 cases. So at opening a card store, the biggest struggle is to even get products for your store. So you end up buying from the secondary market. People who go to Target, people go Walmart, they'll come and they'll resell it back to us. And then we have to try to make a little bit of money, so we have to slap a little tax on top of that.
Card stores are essentially at the mercy of the distributors?
That is for sure. And I love my
So much pain, so many hours spent bitching about distributors. Me and my other business owners or card shop owners, it's fuck the distros. So much pain, because they control so much, and because it's not you can't just become a distributor because of regulations. You have to have a licensed economy. It becomes almost monopolistic, where they have so much control over pricing and such, especially if they start corroborating or collaborating with each other.
distributors. They treat me very well, but also having a distribution, they ask you nicely to buy sets that don't sell. And in order for you to get the set that, you know, you want.
Yeah, and that sucks. So I said no. This is where bargaining power is important, right? Like, because I order so much Yu-Gi-Oh, I tell them, if you want my business at all, you take it where you can get it. And I never ordered 0 of a product, but there are going to be sets where if there's shit, I'm ordering less of it.
It also dictates that you buy these sets that doesn't sell. So let's say set A is doing well. I buy 10 cases, but set B is not doing well. They say if you keep your allocation at 10 cases, then next time we'll move up your allocation. But if you drop this allocation down to 1, 2 cases, your next allocation will drop down to maybe 3, 4.
Oh man, that doesn't sound as nice as I'd like, right?
Yeah, it's not nice, but I mean, they're running a business too.
How many hours a day? How many hours a week? You know, and especially since
Suda be like, dude, you'd say that, yet I pre-sold so much Suda that I really didn't want to order that much Suda, but I pre-sold so much that my order was still pretty big.
since the beginning, have you been devoting to this store, to this baby of yours? And has it affected, you know, family life at all?
When we first opened the store, we were open from 10 to 8, and that's about 10 hours a day, just being open. We always come in about half an hour earlier to an hour earlier to clean, prep the store for opening. And then afterwards, if we're running tournaments, 8 o'clock can actually go to midnight, 1 in the morning. So there's days we can spend from 12 to 16 hours.
So you're potentially working a 16-hour day.
Yes, and then afterwards, we only close 1 day a week. So I mean, if you do that math, you're running 90 to 100 hours a week.
90 to 100 hours a week.
Yes. Does it affect?
You got some pretty crazy weeks in, but obviously part of owning a real card store that I don't want to do is you have less flexibility in your schedule than working from home like I do with the online card store. If I need to take the day off, I can. But obviously, it's still a lot of work. I don't want to undermine. There are many weeks where I've had 100-hour work weeks.
Family life? Yes, it definitely does. You know, when you have your wife and your kids.
I have no social life. I have my family, which I think I still spend enough time with. I do make sure to put them first. But then I have Yu-Gi-Oh! And then my local friends. I see them like once a month, I think. Like twice a month, maybe. I wish I saw them more, my local friends, but I really don't have much social life in that way. And it's not because I don't have friends either. I just don't get to see them that much. Thankfully, though, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is pretty social. So when I'm doing Yu-Gi-Oh! Stuff and it is work, I at least get to still engage with people. So it's not that bad. And then obviously I have like the more Yu-Gi-Oh! Friends, like the people who I see when I travel, who I'm many times close with. Do I see my teammates? What, Ray and Ryan? Ryan, almost never. And Ryan even less. Ray lives in a different city though. But no, so I work like 6-7 days a week. I try to leave myself free for Saturday nights as the only time I go out to see friends. However, I'm oftentimes out of town because I am at an event, which yes, I do sometimes take a day or two to be on vacation at those events. But even then at those events, yeah, it can be fun and I'm competing, but it's still work at the end of the day because it's part of the whole business model I have. Right? Too busy gooning. It goes 4 hours away. It's not exactly close. If anything, less excuse to see Ryan, but I don't go to locals that much. Neither does Ryan, so it's kind of hard. And when I see my local friends, we don't play Yu-Gi-Oh! We play other stuff. Although Ryan would probably be free to come. He just has his own other local friends and whatever. I remember there's also an age difference between Ryan and I. Who ships the orders when you're away and competing? Turn the store off. Otherwise, an employee. I don't have an employee full-time anymore, though. So now I just turn the store off.
And you're dedicated to the store for survivability, of course. But luckily my house is not too far from my store, so my wife and kids were coming to the store with me. So it was much easier.
Oh, that's great. What do you sacrifice when running a card store?
I might
Your sanity.
make this sound grim. I love my job. I love the card store, but I think this goes for every business anyone opens up. You're gonna sacrifice a lot of your time and a lot of your money. Businesses are not guaranteed money.
Yeah,
you have to know how to save money.
Upon the point, this is businesses in general. Anything you're trying to build from the ground up, it takes a lot of love, care, and effort. And even with content creation, that I'm feeling that here, and I'm fucked on time because remember, I'm not just running the card store. I'm also like, yes, I've scaled that down and I'm trying to stop doing it less and less. I'm still running content creation as well, and it's just all a lot. It's a lot. So yeah, when you're trying to build something up and be self-sufficient without having those bosses and such, just be prepared for a fucking ton of responsibility. I don't know. Oh, I also don't know if he mentions this or will mention it. Accounting for card stores is a fucking nightmare because tracking inventory coming in and out is just so hard.
Or a storm. You have to be good with your social skills. You can't get mad at people. You have to love people, like I said.
So relationships are very important.
Yes.
Whether it comes to the people in the community that visit your shop,
Yes.
to reaching out across the world for getting product, for establishing new relationships.
Yes.
I also couldn't help but notice how much security Cloud had for their store.
So tell me why a card store needs Fort Knox type of security like this.
Yeah, so it is one of the prime targets for robbery. On the first year we opened, we got broken into. Ever since then, I realized that we need all the security we could get. So this store is pretty much like a jewelry store. So it's protected like one. We have
It
all
is like a
sorts of
jewelry
security
store.
from back to front, to the point where we actually have to secure the suite right next to us too.
Yeah.
They'll come in from that side too. They do it with speed, so they target the highest dollar section, usually cases. They'll break every case and then they'll grab everything in it. They'll try to do it within 10 minutes and they're gone. They were grabbing cases of stuff.
Oh my gosh. So we're talking like thousands and thousands of dollars worth of product gone?
Yeah, overnight once, but people try to do grab and runs, which is a lot.
What's a grab and run?
So they'll come in and like, oh, let me see this expensive card. Usually we're pretty quick on that. We get a sense of it. We use a mag lock. So if you come in and you know holding a bunch of my cards, what I do is I press a button, the mag lock locks.
So like the front door automatically locks?
All my doors locked. Well, they run. They're not going to slip out because, you know, when they're holding a couple $1,000s in their hand, we're watching. It's more of them, oh, I'll take this to register, not.
Oh,
So
wow.
they run, you know, the mag lock hits and they're just like, just put it down, you can leave.
Wow. What sort of measures have you had to take since you have been robbed?
We've fortified our walls. We had to put a security system to the suite next to us. So we've actually created alarm systems for our neighbors too. We've installed cameras, we've installed these shutters, mag locks, like I said.
But it's not all gloom and doom. This man also loves collecting cards, and he created a place for others who love the hobby as well.
Any just one particular moment that really just clings to you?
The biggest thing is that I like to teach people, and there's a lot of young ones that come in here and they want to learn more about Pokemon. I love, you know, that's the biggest thing that I actually enjoy, teaching the young.
Did you say you were scaling down content creation? No, I'm scaling down the sorry, I don't know if I said that. I scaling down the card sales. The loss prevention meta sounds pretty intense. Yeah, welcome to the real world. Unfortunately, that's life. It's not just this either, but yeah. Very inventory based industry does mean you have a lot more risk of physical issues, physical theft, physical damage. Bro, imagine living in like Florida and saying hurricane, or LA and seeing fire or tsunami or earthquake. God damn it. That's why I love Toronto. I got none of that shit. A blizzard at the very worst.
Younger generations, you know, the games that we like, kind of passing it on and our passion for the game. A lot of parents come in here with their children and they're like, hey, we don't know what we're doing. It's like, we got you. Come over here. We got, you know, we'll show you the best things to get.
And of course, I couldn't leave without opening some Pokemon cards.
What we got?
We got tons of options.
I have been eyeing the 151, so I will say, if you have 151 for us to open, I still haven't pulled the Charizard.
Yep, let's do it. We'll keep opening till we get it.
All right, let's do it. Well,
Keep opening
we're
till
gonna
we
have
get
a little
it.
pack battle and see
That's-
who
that-
can get the best pulls today.
Let's do it.
As someone who's done that for both TCG cards and for Royal Rares, may I say that never do that. Never do that. Never do that. I'm going till I pull it. Does it ever come? Yes, eventually it will. And then you look at your bank account, your credit card statement, and you go, oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
All right, scan both. What have been some of your favorite moments running a card shop?
A lot of my customers are now some of my closest friends. They come to the store, they hang out with us. We actually now go eat together. We play
Yeah,
games
this aspect is
together.
cool.
They come
You
the
get to be
store,
social
they
while
see us busy,
working.
They'll hop in, they'll
Which
help
is why,
bring the store.
despite me barely having a social life, I wouldn't say I'm not social, because I talk to people constantly. I'm not even talking to you guys on Twitch because this is fake social. Sorry, but I definitely like still talk to people all the time. Pokemon's also the most scalped TCG. Yeah, and part of that's because of allocation. Okay, this is a cool video. I don't really have any ending thoughts. I was very in detail with my opinions on discussion. I think the grim reality card store is more so the grim reality of being an entrepreneur or a business owner trying to grow something from the ground up. It's a lot of work, and each will have slightly different challenges and risks and whatever. Like Yu-Gi-Oh being more inventory, or card stores being more inventory based, means more difficulty managing inventory and deflecting risk from being damaged and stolen. But for the most part, it's still just the hardships of business ownership.